Hello there folks, and thanks for joining me at my bench once again. Today I'm going to tie for you a soft hackle pattern. It's one of the most popular soft hackle patterns, the pheasant tail soft hackle. And it's a very good fly for swinging when you're using wet flies. And I've had a lot of luck on it over the years, tied in different sizes, different combinations. And I'm just going to show you one way that I tie it here this time around, and it's not all that difficult. So I'll get started here. We'll get this guy the vise, a fresh hook in, and I'll get started. Okay, for the hook I'm using a mustad 33.99 and a size, I'm tying him on a size 10 here for the video. So we'll get him locked in the vise here. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, and I'm using some Danville 6/0 black for the thread. Alright, so we're going to start our thread here, put a hook eye length behind the eye as usual. We'll get a thread base going down here, working towards the barb there, just like so. Okay, we're just about there. I'll snip off my tag end here. Alrighty. Now I don't put no tail on this version, but I do tie certain ones with tails. You can put a tail in or leave it out, whichever you wish. With this particular style, I just don't bother with a tail. It doesn't seem to matter too much. Okay, so, but it's up to you if you want to put one in. Go right ahead. Okay, for a rib I'm using some small copper wire. So we're going to catch that in here next. We'll catch that in on my side of the hook here. Okay. And we'll wrap that down good. Catch it in nice and secure. Then I'm going to move my thread back about halfway here. I'm going to stick that in the material, clip it on my way for now. Okay, so next is the body, and I got pheasant tail fibers here. And I'm going to pull off, if I was guessing, probably 15 to 20 fibers for the body. Okay, and I'm going to tie it in by the tips, but before I do, I'm going to trim them back a ways because they are quite brittle. Alright, so now I'm going to catch those in on the far side, which would be your side of the hook here. Catch those in, just like so. Come back to where we left our thread off at there, and then move forward once again, tying those down as we go. And we want to come up about 3/4 of the way because we want to leave room for we have a little peacock herl thorax there. Alright, now before I wrap these, I'm going to throw in a half hitch and use the rotary function here. Okay, just going to swing my bob and cradle around. And also for durability, I'm going to take a little bit of Zappa Gap here, and before I wrap that and put on the thread wraps, they'll just make that pretty bulletproof as far as the fish's teeth and that are concerned. So I'm just going to come in and put a little bit along the shank there before I wrap it. That's good. You don't need a whole lot. Okay, now I'm going to grab these fibers and just give them a small twist up there. And alright, we're going to begin to wrap them here, folks. Okay. Just going to be careful when you're wrapping these because they're not the strongest material in the world, as you know probably. Going to come up to where we want to tie off, and that's right about there. Okay, get that bob and cradle out of the way. Excuse my fingers there, folks. Now I'm going to come up around, catch that in here with a couple tight wraps, just like so. I'm not letting go of the tension of my thread as I do that, just so you know. Try to always keep good thread tension. Couple wraps behind, a couple more going back on that, snug wraps, and we'll trim that excess off nice and close. Okay, I'm gonna put a little wax on my thread here just to bind that, make sure that's secured in there really well. Make a couple more wraps. Okay, now I'm gonna throw in another half hitch here, just like so. Snug it down, swing the cradle over once again, and if you don't have a rotary vise, just wrap it as you normally would. Now we're going to counter wrap the wire, and that'll make that even more durable there, the body. Okay, just come up to where we want to tie it off. That's good. Move that out of the way. Okay, coming behind that wire, couple wraps in front, behind once again. There we go. Now, should be able to helicopter that off, no problem now. Just give it a few turns there till it snaps. There we go. And a couple more securing wraps. Okay. Now, for the peacock herl part, I have 3 strands here for the thorax. There, okay. I'm going to snip off those brittle tips there before I begin. Now, as you've seen in a lot of my videos, as you know, I like to use dubbing loops and make a noodle, so I'm going to do that on this fly as well. Come in with a couple wraps. Make a short dubbing loop. You don't need a very long one here. We're just making a little thorax, couple wraps there to secure it. Move forward. Okay, now we'll grab the herl and the loop, combine them together. Grab my little hackle pliers here, and we're going to spin this up. Just like so here. Get a nice tight noodle going there. Okay, we're going to come up around. Give it a nice little snug pull, but not too hard because it will break on you. Wrap it again if you notice the loop is not tight enough. Okay, we just want a little thorax there. That'll help splay out our hackle when we wrap it on. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to come in behind that with the wrap, jump in front, come back, jump in front. As you notice, one of the herls broke there, but I caught it in before it let go on me, so that's good. Now turn the vise and snip that in, snip that off nice and close. Alright, there we go. There's our little peacock thorax. Now a little more wax on my thread, just to help lock that in even more. Nice and tight. Alrighty, so there's what we have so far. We have our pheasant tail body, our copper wire rib, and our little peacock thorax. Now, for the hackle, I'm going to use partridge hackle here. And I have one prepared here. The key to soft hackles is just not to tie too heavily, too much hackle on them. You want to keep them pretty sparse, so I try to keep them as sparse as possible. Okay, and I have a little feather here once I get a hold of it. I stripped the fuzzies off there, and I pulled it down so I got a little tip there, right there to tie it in by. Once I get a hold of it with my fingers here, folks. Alright, now you want to catch that in on the top. You want the concave side of that feather facing rearward. And we're going to catch that in with 1 or 2 wraps. And a little trick here to make that more durable before you wrap it is to pull on that so you're trapping down the fibers, not just the stem, the fibers as well. And that'll keep that from breaking when you wrap it. As you know, partridge hackle is pretty fragile. And I'm going to pull that back and make a couple wraps. Okay, then I'm going to come in and snip off those tips. Alrighty. Okay, I'm just going to make sure that's in there good. I'm going to come back a little bit, then forward once again. Okay, now it's wrapping time, so we're going to lift that up. And you want to be very careful wrapping these, as you know probably. Just go easy, take your time. Try to stroke those back a little bit there. Okay, now I'm going to come down around. And I'm tying these, I always have a few feathers always prepared just in case if it does break on me. I got another feather handy, so it's always a good thing. Now come up, catch that stem in there. Keep good thread tension as you come around. I'm going to release my little pliers there. Okay, that looks pretty good there, folks, so far. Couple more wraps there. Then I'm going to fold back that little stem and wrap on top of him. Then I'm going to come in with my fine point scissors and catch him in there and snip him out. Alrighty, there we go. Okay, we got pretty even coverage there all the way around, so I'm just going to stroke them fibers back a little. And I'm going to put some wax on my thread. Okay. Now just stroke those back, and then we're going to start building the head here. You just want a small little head on these. Alrighty, we're going to come back a ways on them. Not too awful far, folks. Just a ways. That looks pretty good. That looks good to me. Alrighty, so a little stray fiber there. Alright, so now what we'll do is a whip finish, and he's just about a done deal here. So I'm going to come in and do a 4 or 5 turn whip finish here. Alrighty. Okay. There we go. Just like so. And we'll snug that down nice and tight there. Just going to come in and snip that off nice and close. Alright, there we have it. Another size 10 pheasant soft hackle. Now what I'm going to do, folks, is just bring in a little bit of my head cement here. Or you could use, I could use Solaris bone dry, but I just don't want to get any UV resin on the partridge hackle there. I want to keep it so it has good movement in the water. So I'll find my dubbing needle here. So I'm just going to come in and coat the thread wraps there, folks. The stuff's really thin, so it soaks in good and hardens well, so to make that head nice and strong. And I would probably wait for this to dry, and then I usually come in and put another coat or two on, but for now we're just going to put one on while we're doing the video here. Alrighty. That looks good, folks. There we go. Alrighty, so that's a done deal. Not all that difficult. And like I was saying, if you wish, you can add a tail here if you wish. And if you want to change up different hackle, you can do that as well. Never hurts to experiment on these flies. Well, this is just the way I tie my pheasant tail soft hackle, one of my particular patterns. And I wanted to share this one with you today. So, anyways, if you have the materials, definitely tie some of these and add them to your wet fly box. Definitely a fish catcher for sure. So, if you haven't seen my videos, don't hesitate to hit that good old subscribe button if you wish. You'd like to see more. And throw in a like too, appreciate that. And I always like to hear from you, so anything you want to say, write it down below in the comments. I always read them each and every time. Look forward to hearing from you. So, until next time, like I always say, happy tying out there, everyone. I'll see you all again soon, and so long for now.